Point is all y'all nerdy mathematicians can compare decimals by using the strategy of thinking money. All right, let's get started. Cool, so here are some examples of prices in the real world, and using place value language, describe what they all have in common. So probably the most important noticing is that all of these prices, whether it's $13 and 99 cents or $9.49 or $7.27 or $24.50, all of these prices go into the hundredths place. The hundredths place is where money lives. So the hundredths place is represented by pennies, and the tenths place is represented by dimes, if we're thinking money. Alrighty. So when you're trying to compare decimals, especially tenths and hundredths, it helps to rewrite them as money. So remember, when we write money, we always go into the hundredths place. In fact, the prefix cent means 100. There are 100 cents in a dollar, and that's why pennies represent the hundredths place. And there are 10 dimes in a dollar, and that's why dimes represent the tenths place. So over here, we see 2 tenths is equal to 2 dimes, also known as 20 cents or 20 pennies. All right, so let's get started. This is like a little review of today's lesson, and we're going to start looking at this first number over here. We want to compare 42 hundredths to 6 tenths. So if I'm saying 42 hundredths, that ends in the hundredths place. We got 42 hundredths. If I'm thinking pennies, 42 hundredths, well, that's the same as 42 pennies. Here's 30, 40 pennies, 41, 42. That's 42 cents. It goes into the hundredths place. I write it the same exact way in money as I do in standard form. So in money, it is $0 and 42 cents. I would write it just like that. Okay. This one's a little different. 6 tenths. In 6 tenths, the digit 6 is in the tenths place. That's like saying 6 dimes. So I am going to use my blue, and I have 1 dime, 2 dimes, 3 dimes, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths. 6 tenths is 6 dimes. I know like a dime is 10 cents. So that's kind of like saying 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 cents. And you can see that it's equal to 60 hundredths. 6 tenths is equal to 60 hundredths. So I'm going to write that, annotate that as money. Notice how the 6 is in the tenths place in both values. That shows that they're equal. They have 6 tenths and 0 of any other value. 60 hundredths is greater than 42 hundredths. 60 cents is greater than 42 cents. So I'll put 2 dots here, 1 dot here, and we could read this as 42 hundredths is less than 6 tenths. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have the number 3, and we have the number 3 hundredths. Well, 3, that's like, there's an invisible decimal there. It's just 3 holes. So we have 3 like this, and we would say that as 3 whole dollars. So in money, I would say $3 and 0 cents. Cool beans. Right over here, we have 3 hundredths. 3 hundredths, well, that's already in decimal land. That's already in money because it's going into the hundredths place. 3 hundredths, that's the same as $0 and 3 cents, 3 pennies. And we know that $3 is much greater than only 3 pennies. So here, the 3 gets the 2 dots, 3 hundredths gets the 1 dot, and we would read this as 3 is greater than 3 hundredths. All right, let's move into some homework help, and Wage is saying, remember to write in standard form and then use think money. Okay, so here we go. Level up. Don't get tricked by different forms. Rewrite the values as money and compare. So if I say this is 3 tenths, Well, that's like saying decimal 3, 3/10. Well, that's like saying 3/10 is 3 dimes. 3 dimes is equal to 30 cents. Nice. So we annotated using the strategy of think money. Let's look over here. Oh, this is also 3/10. Huh. If I want to rewrite that as money, 3/10, 3 dimes is equal to 30 pennies, 30 cents. 30 cents, 30 cents equal, let's try one more. 7 and 2/10. 7 and 2/10. So I'm going to have my 7 is my whole number. And 2/10? It's got to end in the tens place, right here. 7 and 2/10. Cool. 7 and 2/10 is $7 and 2 dimes, which is $7.20, because each dime is worth 10 cents. Boom, boom. Thinking money. Cool. And this says 7 and 2/100. Well, in standard form, that's equal to 7 decimal. 7 decimal. I want that 2 to end in the hundredths place, which means I have to put a 0 here. 7 and 2/100. That's like $7 and only 2 cents. Those digits 2, those 2's are not in the same place value. So these are not equal. I know $7 is equal to $7, but 20 cents is greater than 2 cents. So I'm going to give this the 2 dots, 1 dot, and we would read this as 7 and 2/10 is greater than 7 and 2/100. All right, kiddos, that's all for now. I hope this was helpful. Remember, try to use the strategy Think Money on your work today. We'll learn a new strategy tomorrow. Later, guys. Bye.